Now, tomorrow's budget day, the Chancellor no doubt will be at pains to stress that the economy is on the road to recovery, but can you really feel it? So join us at 7 tomorrow for full details and analysis of Budget 2014.
Well, the eve of budget saw the now traditional authorised leak. In fact, the government's new childcare proposals were not just leaked, but launched by both the Prime Minister and his deputy on a joint visit to a London nursery. A voter-friendly offer of up to £2,000 a year per child is something with which both the Conservative and the Lib Dems want to be associated. But as our political editor Gary Gibbon reports now, there was something a little familiar about it.
It's the day before the budget and the government's announcing help with childcare bills. If it sounds familiar, it should. This was the duo 1 year ago, the day before the budget, launching a new scheme, which today they made a bit more generous. Instead of getting 20% of your childcare bills paid, up to a cap of £1,200 per child up to the age of 5, households where both parents work will now get up to £2,000 per child up to the age of 12.
Well, the basic new childcare plan was unveiled last year. Many people were amazed to see an expansion of the welfare state when so much of it was being frozen or cut back. Today's additional help for those with childcare bills that go above £6,000 a year has been criticised by some as help for those who are better off. Some parents don't see it that way.
It's a huge chunk of our salaries that go into childcare, so any help, especially up to the age of 12, would be amazing.
The majority of childcare that you get in the capital is probably 16,000, so you're not actually getting any help towards £6,000 of that. I suppose that would be my concern.
If you want to encourage people to get back to work, then I think that it has to be available for everyone. To me, I think if you're going to means test it and say, oh, it's only available to the poorest, then I might consider actually maybe I'll just stay at home and be poor.
Labour said the measures weren't enough. David Cameron and Nick Clegg said the programme would help those feeling squeezed and those wanting to work.
This is about helping all families, but particularly those families that do feel their finances are squeezed. I want to give families greater stability, greater peace of mind, greater security, and obviously being able to have £2,000 tax relief per child is going to be a huge help to millions of families across Britain.
We welcome any new investment in childcare, but I think what the government need to be a bit more honest about is that families facing a real crisis in the cost of childcare have seen support stripped away over this Parliament, on average £1,500 a year per family that they've lost in support.
The government says it's able to do all this additional help at no additional cost because it's revised down earlier estimates of eligible parents. That's Treasury speak for having committed a complete howler in its earlier sums.
Today, the Treasury said it's quite sure it's got enough money to pay the subsidy, even to families on 2 salaries, combining at £300,000 a year.
Will you be taking this up, Prime Minister?
Well, I won't be taking it up,
The existing voucher scheme, mainly operated by public sector employers and larger firms, will be phased out. The new one will only come in after the election in September next year.